Welcome to another episode of the Peak Potential Success Show. My name is Fong. I'm an entrepreneur, business strategist, real estate investor, speaker, and also a best-selling author. And every single day, I help others unlock potentials and guide them to succeed. Today, I have another incredible individual. Once I met this person, I felt his energy, I felt his passion, I felt his inspiration, and I couldn't wait to get him on my show. And he is here today. He is a strategic coach. He has a knack to create viral, thought-provoking stories that the media just absolutely craves. He understands the importance of strategic relationships and how important those are in your business and your success. So please welcome the international best-selling author of the book, Epic Business, the visionary PR entrepreneur, and also the global strategic connector, Mr. Justin Breen.
Fong, I was really excited to talk to you. I just really like the name of your show, and I really like how you say potential is unlimited. I name my years. So last year was global growth. So every day, global growth. And then this year, no limits. So every day, no limits, no limits, no limits. So potential is unlimited plus no limits equals, whatever this is. But we have the same type of brain. I think we say things differently, but we have the same type of brain. So it'll be an interesting conversation.
Oh, awesome. Thank you very much for being here and spending time with us. How's your day been? For somebody that's as energetic and as productive as you, how does your day look and how has your day been?
Again, that's why I was excited to talk to you, because you're a simplifier like I am. I take all this complexity and I simplify it. And the purpose of my life is to be a connecting superhero for every visionary, abundance, investment mindset entrepreneur and share their stories with the world. So besides hanging out with my family and friends, that's 100% of my day. So I actually work 0 hours every week. No work. This is all fun for me. And I just love talking to people like you. Most of my day is talking to the top entrepreneurs on the planet around the world. It's just endlessly interesting to me.
Well, it goes to show how important it is to find what it is that you absolutely love doing and making that your work, making that something that gives you a livelihood in your career. So good on you with that. And it's very, very important to spend the time doing the stuff that you love. So share with us your story. How did you become the person you are today, being able to do what you love for your career?
Yeah, so I was, again, I appreciate you interviewing me. And I always try to really understand the host, who's ever talking to me. So, you did a really good video, maybe 2015, 2016 about the underdog story and underdog story. People love that. People love that. And, I started my first company 4 years ago. 4 years ago with zero business background, 0.0, and didn't know what an S corp was, didn't know what an LLC was, didn't know you had to pay taxes 4 times a year in the US. And I started after my job salary was cut in half, couldn't find a job, incorporated. And then when I was working full time at half the salary, reached out to 5,000 people to find my first 5 clients. So 1 out of 1,000 people said yes. And so, so that was, February 10th, 2017 to around June 5th, 2017. And so now, 4 years later, a little over 4 years later, now a global company that works with the top entrepreneurs on the planet or the people that'll make the investment to become the top entrepreneurs on the planet, and just launched the second company that's essentially just technology for my brain. It's basically going to be a high price point invite only connectivity platform. And it's unbelievable because, if you have technology has allowed us, if you have a good idea, a lot of guts, and you have a lot of guts, but technology's allowed a lot of guts, good idea, a computer, an iPhone, and a really amazing network of great people, you can build multiple global companies in a very short amount of time. It's really unbelievable. It's amazing.
What was that process like for you to jump from an employee to becoming the entrepreneur?
Yeah, so I think that's a good follow-up question, because I was born to be a top performing entrepreneur. I just strongly believe you're either born to be someone like this or not. And, it's interesting because I partner with essentially 1 out of 1,000, just like 1 out of 1,000 people said yes. And people with my mindset and the ability to do this, most of my days talking to the top entrepreneurs on the planet. So I quantify it, it's about 1 out of 1,000. Because I think most people would want to have this life where you make as much money as you want to, you only do what you like to do and what you're good at. And then you partner, with only the people you want to. I haven't done outbound sales or funnels or anything in years. People just like, hey, I want to work with this person. So most people, I think, would choose that if they could. But if you said, hey, you have to go through bankruptcy or potential bankruptcy, 2, depression, 3, the highest level of anxiety you can imagine, or 4, likely and or possible traumatic experiences as a child or young adult, that's where they stop. So most people use those as excuses their whole life. They stop there. Highest entrepreneur on the planet, highest level entrepreneur, they figured out entrepreneur life. And so going from employee to this, it certainly wasn't easy, but it was very natural because I was never meant to be an employee. I was always meant to be the highest performing entrepreneur on the planet. And people at the highest level are usually aliens within their own family, community, and vertical. And I just didn't know it until, I didn't know I was this person until my job salary was cut in half, couldn't find a job, reached out to 5,000 people, found 5 clients, and here we are.
So it's one of those scenarios where you kept on asking to get those yeses, eh?
Well, again, most people stop at 5 no's. That's my point. There's at highest level, no excuses, only investment. There are no excuses at the highest level. And I have no tolerance or acceptance for excuses because people at the highest level would never make an excuse. They won't do it. They will make the investment. They will figure it out. And that type of directness, most people can't handle that. And the highest performing entrepreneurs on the planet love it because they're like, oh, this is not arrogance at all. This is just pure confidence. And confidence attracts confidence. And it's just a magnet for attracting other confident people who also have overcome at least one of those 4 things that I mentioned. Most are 2 or 3. The all 4 ones are really successful, really successful. Yeah.
You mentioned the word confidence a few times. What would you suggest is the best way to build confidence for people who say they don't have the confidence to do something?
No. That's my point. You either someone who's asking that, they're not meant to be the highest performing entrepreneur on the planet. And that's fine because if everyone was highest performing entrepreneur on the planet, there'd be no one to integrate the visionary wackadoo things that create all this technology. You need people to work or the integrator. You need that. But no. There's none of that. And so what I will say, and I think you're a master at this. I think you're really good at this. Is that you're either born like this or you're not. I strongly believe that. Again, if most people, if they could do this, they would do this. They would choose to have this life, but they can't overcome those 4 things. They use them as excuses. But what you can work on is your mindset. So if you are born like this, you can work on your mindset. So I treat my brain like a muscle, which you're really good at. I can just tell. I just treat my brain like a muscle. So start every day, 7 days a week with a grateful journal to my wife, grateful journal. What I'm grateful for her the previous day. That's a really good habit, really good exercise. 6 days a week, I run outside no matter the weather conditions. I've done that for almost 20 years. And we live in Chicago area, so very cold in the winter, very hot in the summer, very rainy in the spring. Okay, run outside, figure it out. That's a really good time to start the day and think and build the mindset. And then 3, every Monday through Friday, I do a grateful journal on LinkedIn where I have about 26,000 followers. And what I'm grateful for, because when you're constantly grateful, gratitude, you can't be ungrateful. And what has happened with that is over time, you just build this, essentially it's an impenetrable mindset. And it just keeps growing and growing and growing. Again, like potential is unlimited. There are no limits. Mindset, there are no limits with your mindset, none.
Now, I love how you talked about the weather and not letting the weather affect what you want to do.
No excuses. Well, why would you? That's my no. You do so that it's interesting because people are like, oh, what's going on with the economy? I go, it doesn't affect highest performing entrepreneur. No, figure it out. Who's ever in political office? And I totally completely ignore politics. But who's ever in political office? Whatever, figure it out. highest performing entrepreneur, you will figure it out.
Hmm.
Oh, COVID shut your company down. Figure it out. Start something else. Pivot. No, there's no excuses.
Right.
And that's what separates highest performing entrepreneurs from everyone else.
Yeah,
that's it.
I have a lot of clients who sometimes come up to me and say, "But it's snowing outside. I can't do that," or "It's raining outside. I can't do." I'm like, "Well, you can. You just choose not to, right?" So it's you just have to figure it out, then find a way to get it done, or find a way to go, or else it just doesn't mean it's not as important as you think it is. And that's what I think people are just find those excuses to justify reasons for not doing something.
No, yeah, right. And again, because I'm totally focused on my unique ability zone of genius, there would never be an excuse not to do it because I love doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm good at it. So what's the point? And I have a weird brain. I mean, I just do. Literally once a day, someone's like, "Oh, I never met anyone like you." I'm like, "Well, thanks," but that's the difference. Is I embrace my unique, strange brain, and then just keep doubling down on what makes it weird, different than everyone else, and so how my brain works is I take all this complexity in the world. I think your brain works like this too. I think it does, but so I take all this complexity and immediately simplify it into patterns, and I just do that over and over. And I did it to myself in anticipation of this interview because I was really excited to talk to you. I don't usually do it to myself, but I did because I think you and I think your audience will appreciate this. And so we're talking in mid-August, and I don't care about revenue profit at all, but most people do. So I'll talk to most people here. And so last year, 2020 was first company record profit by a country mile. And we're in mid-August now. This week just passed last year's massive record profit. So why did that happen? Okay, so there's 5 things, and I really, really thought about this. There's 5 things. So 1, I married my wife. Nicest, kindest, most loving, stabilizing human I've ever met. She's the nicest person. And that stabilization has allowed me to just think as big as I ever want to. So 1 is her for sure. 2, part of Strategic Coach and Abundance 360, 2 of the top entrepreneurial groups in the world. Currently invest $50K US dollars total, and those would easily invest $100K US dollars. Why? Because at that level, the investment weeds out all the nonsense and people that make excuses. There are no excuses in those groups. 3, embracing new technology quickly. When COVID happened, get on Zoom, pivot, figure it out. So immediately embracing new technology. 4, thinking globally. Last year was global growth. So clients around the world, all verticals except for politics, because it's the opposite of everything I believed in terms of mindset. And companies as big as Allstate and companies as small as solopreneurs, that doesn't matter. And then 5, raising rates exponentially. Raising rates eliminates nonsense and attracts greatness and attracts confident people. So those 5 things: my wife, being in Strategic Coach A360, embracing new technology quickly, thinking globally, and raising rates exponentially. That has led to record profit, and it has nothing to do with employee count. There's nothing to do with office space. There's nothing to do with costs or any of that stuff that most people are living in. It's an overall like flying the plane approach, and I think it's a good formula for people to employ. Really do.
Well, as a strategic coach, I'm sure a lot of people come up to you with their issues or some challenges that they're trying to overcome. What would you say is one of the most common challenges that your clients face, and how do you help them go through it?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good simplifying question. So all my brain hears over and over. I was a journalist for 20 years and created my entire business model based on how PR firms annoyed me for 20 years. So saw a problem, created solutions. Yeah, right. But that's the formula for building a successful global company. Is you see a problem, create solution, problem solve, successful global company. So all I hear over and over from these visionaries who live in abundance and look at things as investments, not costs. They're tired of being the best secret, and they want to be in more news, more media, usually at a global level, but certainly national, North American, whatever that is, to create more validity and credibility for the brand. So my brain immediately simplifies all their blah, 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 blah complexity into actionable things. And then it's just result, intro. So my company just solves that problem. So it doesn't matter where you're located, doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how big the company, that doesn't matter. My company just solves the problem. And that simple approach has just caused massive growth within my own firm, but then all my clients as well, because they just result. It's all endlessly fun for me, endlessly fun.
Mm-hmm. Now, you have a knack for creating thought-provoking stories, and you're able to create those stories for your clients so that they get the right PR, so that they get the right media. What would you say is the formula of creating a thought-provoking story?
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair question. At the highest level, there's no competition, only collaboration. Folks, a lot of times they ask, well, you're in PR space, very competitive. I go, no competition, only collaboration. There's no, I'm just the buyer, and companies pay my firm, but I'm the buyer. I don't sell anything. So you either understand this and you'll make the investment, or you don't, and that's fine. So I say that because my company's entire process is on the website. There's no tricks. There's no gimmicks. It's like, here you go. I was annoyed for 20 years. As a journalist, you get hundreds of useless press releases every single day from people you don't know. And not only is that annoying, but it's a problem because the press releases are useless. They don't talk about who you are. They only talk about what you do, and no one cares. No one cares what you do. But if they care about who you are, they will care about what you do. So solve problem, created solution, problem solved, successful global company. And the stories that my firm does, it serves the journalist, it serves the podcast host, not the client. Byproduct is the client is interviewed over and over because it serves the journalist, it serves the host. And media only needs two things for a good story. Simple, only two. One is a good story, which everyone has. What you've overcome in life, what inspires you. That's easy, why you're doing this. And two is a news peg. A news peg is, why is it a story now? So have you written a book? Are you running across Canada or the United States? Did you create a new company since COVID? Are you speaking at some event? That's easy. That's easy. And so my brain hears blah, blah, blah. And then it's like ding, 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 ding. And just turning those dings into a 400-word story that media really wants to do and general public actually cares about.
Mm-hmm. Very good. You wrote the book on epic businesses. Tell us more about that, and how people can pick it up and why people need to pick it up.
Well, thank you. A lot of people write books and they're totally meaningless because there's no meaning behind them. I'm actually very low in ideation on strength finders. Out of 34, I'm 32 out of 34. But if I have a good idea, my top three are activate, maximize, achieve. So result. And so Chris Foster wrote Never Split the Difference, one of the top 20 books, 20, top business books in the last 20 years, did the forward. I'm very grateful for that. International bestseller in 6 countries, #1 for entrepreneurship in the US. And, people, I don't think they ever really want to be Bill Gates or Steve Jobs. And if they do, they have no idea how to even do that. But they can think about being someone like me, where you see your family whenever you want to, you make as much money as you want to, you do what you like to do, what you're good at, you work with a select type of person. And so for the company's 30-month anniversary, which was October 16th, 2019, I posted this list of 30 things I had learned from, some of the top entrepreneurs in the world in the company's first 30 months. So I think at the time I had 37,000 followers on social media. And, so I posted and everybody's like, oh, you must write a book. You need to write a book on that. So, okay, activate, maximize, achieve. So wrote the book and it's been great. It's just an endless key that opens up endless doors. We're in, late middle 2021. It came out in May of 2020. I still do 2 to 3 media interviews for the book every single week because it's a long tail, and it's been great for my brand. I'm very thankful for that, but it's really been great for my clients, partners as well, because the host interviewed me first, which I didn't expect, and then they're like, "Wait, you work with all these visionaries changing the world?" Like, yeah. So then they want to interview my clients too. So it's just created this massive. I already had a big network, but now it just keeps growing and growing and growing, and it's really exciting. Really exciting.
Now, you mentioned a few times your following and the type of relationships you've been able to build, your network. What would you say is the key of creating those networks or building those relationships?
Man, that's a good question, and I don't usually get that, but it's a really important one because technology is getting faster and faster. Microchips get smaller and smaller, and there's two constants that will never change. They'll never change. One is the power of storytelling. Bible, hieroglyphics, cave paintings, smoke signals, whatever that is. You're always always world of stories. Two is the power of real relationships. Real relationships. And so in terms of connecting people on a global level and getting people news at a very high level, that's my zone of genius. And I'm just able to immediately connect dots. I can just talk to someone in Canada and they'll say something and I'll be like, oh, there's someone in California that thinks like that, or in Florida or in New Zealand, and just immediately connect them. And then, 2 days later, they talk and they go, how did you know how to do that? Like, we're doing business together, or we're good friends now. I'm like, that's how my brain works. And I'll simplify it into a pattern, which might be helpful to your audience. When you start a company, and this is in terms of building a network, when you start a company, it's get to get. So reach out to 5,000 people to get 5 clients. Then you get to give. So it's giving an intro here, an intro there, but mostly you're getting need clients. Then you give to get. So, give, just constantly giving interest. You got a few good ones, but you're mostly giving to get. Then you get to the point that I'm at where you give to give, but only to the people who get it, only to the people who understand. Otherwise, you're just giving to someone who doesn't appreciate it, 2, will never give back, and it's just not the right give. So it's get to get, give to get, and then give to give, but only to the people who get it. That's how you build the network on a global level.
Mm-hmm. Now, you also talked about a few times where you're introducing and connecting different people from one country to another, or one industry to another. Well, right. How do you manage all those lists and all those contacts? Like right now, because we're global, we have so many different contacts, right?
It's so I have a weird brain, and I can barely tie my own shoes. If my sons are 8 and 7, and if they ask me to, like, hey, can you put my bike helmet on, or fix my glove? No, ask mommy, please. It's a nightmare for me. But this, easy. That's my point. I just stay in my zone. It's so easy for me to connect. All my new company is technology for my brain. And I have a business partner that I met in Strategic Coach 10X. Again, top entrepreneurial group in the world. I'm very confident saying that. He's in San Francisco. I've never met him in person. The first time I'm going to meet him is at the launch party, which is in September. Knock on wood. Hopefully that happens. We'll see. We'll see. It's in person right now. But if it doesn't, I'll figure it out. But that'll be the first time I meet him. And again, because of those 5 things: wife, strategic coach, A360, embracing new technology, thinking globally, raising rates. That person was attracted to what I was doing. But the new company is just technology for my brain. Intro. So that's what it is. It's a platform for that.
Yeah. Now, as a coach yourself, you also had your mentors, your coaches that kind of guided you along and helped you along. What would you say is one of the best advice, or one of the best strategies that your mentors or the people that you follow has given you?
Yeah, that's a great one. And again, what my book is 30 of those things. Yeah. That's what it is.
So you have to pick one, your favorite.
I know. Result. If I could, I'll give you 1A and 1B, because from my perspective, there's a clear favorite, and then for the thousands and thousands of folks who've read the book, there's their favorite. From my favorite, it's do only what you like to do and what you're good at. Eliminate everything else. 100% of my day is doing what I like to do and what I'm good at. It's very lucrative. It's endlessly fun. It's great. It weeds out the nonsense. Attracts top people on the planet, or the ones who will make the investment to do it. Okay, so that's from my perspective. The readers and listeners on Audible, who have listened to it, almost without exception, they say number one thing is only work with people who look at things as investments, not costs. Look at things as investments, not costs. If someone asks me, what do you cost or charge, I'll never talk to that person again, for 2 reasons. Why? They're living in transactional cost scarcity world. So they'll never, they're not one of those. They're not one of those 1 in 1,000. And two, people who live in cost transactional world hang out with people who live in cost transactional world. Mm-hmm. Their friends aren't people that think like this. So like attracts like, dislike attracts dislike. And so I only attract people who get it and repel everyone else. They actually disqualify themselves. It's very fascinating.
Now, for somebody who is always kind of looking to grow and looking to like do better, what's the the next big thing that you foresee happening with you or your company?
Right. So potential is unlimited. So for those people, that's why I was excited to talk to you. Potential is unlimited and no limits. And so for the people who understand that, there are no limits, because when there are no limits, there's no limits. So I'm really excited about the new company because, again, it's just 100, if not 1,000x of what I'm already doing. And it's just technology for that. And incorporating everything that the folks at Strategic Coach, which led by Dan Sullivan, he's the top entrepreneurial coach who's ever lived. I'm very confident saying that, very confident. So I'm just listening to what they're telling me to do and finding people to do everything that I'm not good at and I don't like to do. So I just talk about the company, which I am good at. And then my business partner, Mark Fujiwara, a great guy, he's a visionary integrator, loves all the backstage stuff, loves it. And then he finds people to do all that. Great. So I don't have to worry about it. I know it's going to get done at the highest level. And it will just grow and grow and grow and grow. Why? Because potential is unlimited. No limits. None. I'll keep saying that, by the way, because I just I like how you. That was January 1st of this year. That was your first show, I think.
Yeah,
my first. Kept saying, I'm like, you're right, and you're right. Potential is unlimited. I just think it's great.
Yeah. Awesome. When it comes to technology, it's something that we all have to embrace. And it always, like, it has a knack for helping us grow, but it also has a way of making things not as ideal as we would like it. With AI coming in, with the way that it kind of separates little groups, it segregates different people and brings in different information and reads out other information because of how AI works and how you kind of program it. So how do you see the next step in AI in our industry, and how do we prevent it from becoming something that's going to be detrimental to the industry?
Man, that's a great question. Really great question. And by no means am I an expert in that. However, I'm in Abundance 360, which is Peter Diamandis' group. That's $20K a year to be in that. And at the level I'm at, 99% of the folks are running $10 million to $10 billion companies. So they're the people creating the top AI. And people like Elon Musk are in this. So it's the top AI people, the people building flying cars, the people creating the technology that's going to allow us to live to 200, 300 years old, if not forever. So these are the wow people that are they're doing it. They're making this happen. And so from what I see from that perspective and talking to those people, and again, my brain simplifies all that complexity, what you're talking about with them, and then simplifies it and activates that message to the world. That's how my brain collaborates with people like that. But what I see from that aspect is endless abundance from these new technologies. I don't see scarcity. I don't see negativity. I see endless abundance, and the scarcity and negativity will be weeded out by the abundance. That's what I see from that. And to that point, the things that are abundant and solve problems as opposed to cause problems, those are the things that will survive. When the ones that cause problems, they'll fade away. And again, the formula for building a successful global company is you see a problem, you create solution to the problem, solve the problem, successful global company. It's not see a problem, make problem worse. It's not that. It's not that. So while there definitely will be hiccups, I mean, there's always hiccups. COVID is a big hiccup, but the people who think at the highest level, they will get over that hiccup and solve the problem quickly, by the way, much quicker because of technology.
For new entrepreneurs or new business owners coming in, and they go, okay, what's the first step? What's the very first thing I need to implement so that I'm set up to be successful or have that good foundation to go off on?
Yeah, so your mindset. Yep, mindset's number one. That's the first step. So I'm guessing you weren't expecting that answer. Maybe you were, but your audience probably wasn't, because right mindset creates right network, which creates right opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the right mindset, it attracts the right network, and those people will create the right opportunities. So constantly, that's why I train my brain like a muscle.
Mm-hmm.
You work on your mindset, all this other stuff takes care of itself. It's a byproduct of having the right mindset.
So aside from doing your journal and your gratitude, what kind of exercises do you have your mind go through?
So when I run, I listen to some of the top mindset podcasts in the world, whether it's Dan Sullivan or Peter Diamandis and people like that. And when you're constant, like if you're in a room with people like that, which is most of my day, whether it's a real room or virtual room, you just become someone like that.
Yeah.
And right, it just eliminates, Richard Canfield, Jason Lowe, right? And they rave about both of them. They adore you, and they're both in Alberta. And I met them. I've never met them in person, but I met them through Strategic Coaching. And Jason's in 10X with me, and being a new entrepreneur, again, you'll figure out really quickly if you can overcome those four things. Mm-hmm. You either can or you can't. There's no gray in that. You either can do it or you use them as an excuse. But if you can do that and you get to a certain, revenue profit point, I would say the next step is joining a group like Strategic Coach for sure. Getting out of the chambers of commerce, getting out of the local, getting out of that. Because again, thinking globally. So getting into a global group with top entrepreneurs, not your local painter, not your local lawyer. And that's fine, by the way. No. Top entrepreneur group, make the investment, not a cost investment. Yeah. That's what separates everyone else.
Yeah, I find that that's one of the biggest things. Once you start surrounding yourself with those like-minded elite individuals, so that you could grow and grow, and then kind of expand from there, and then build that network even more, kind of thing, right? So that
endless.
Yeah.
Well, it creates unlimited potential. And it's fascinating because I'm 44. Most of the folks, not all, most of them that I talk to are older than me and certainly have been entrepreneurs longer than me. And the wisdom and absolute gratitude, and they never get bored. They're always trying to grow their potential. And so when you see that, it's endlessly inspiring. And then I talk to some folks who are much younger than me, and I can see it in someone right away. I can immediately tell if someone gets it or they don't. And it's fascinating. Like my sons are 8 and 7. They definitely have it. I mean, they've both started businesses already. So it's endlessly fascinating to see it from an older perspective, and then of all ages. And it keeps you endlessly refreshed. Endlessly. It's fascinating.
Yeah. Now, if you were on the world stage and you were asked to deliver one message for the entire world to remember Justin Breen by, what would that one message be?
Yeah. So my father was 61 when I was born. He was 61. So he'd be 105 if he was alive. 105. He died when I was 13. And really, so I should be, late 70s, early 80s. 44-year-old body, and I have the childish mindset mentality of maybe a 6-year-old. I'm like a child. And so I'm just the, old wisdom, middle-aged body, child mentality. And so I got about 8 years from age 5 to 13 when my dad died of, my dad was a war hero, shot down 9 times in combat, no excuses. No, get back in the plane, many times without a parachute. And he became an attorney in the Nuremberg trials, kept a diary of his experiences fighting in the Battle of the Hurtgen Forest, which is a very deadly battle towards the end of World War II. I found that diary after he died, and I write exactly like he does, like boom, 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 boom. No excuses, just get it done. And so I got 8 years of him telling me every day, the cream rises to the top, the cream rises to the top, the cream rises to the top. So I only partner with the cream that rises to the top, or the people that will do whatever it takes to rise to the top. No excuses, only rise to the top and use your potential. Create unlimited potential. That's it.
Great words to live by for sure. And obviously, you raise to the top, and of course, you want others to raise to the top with you and be with those people too.
Why would I mean? That's what I mean. No competition, only collaboration.
Mhm.
And again, most people aren't born to do this, but if they are, fantastic, because there's so much abundance, there's so much business, there's so much potential, so much growth that everyone wins at this level. Everyone wins. We're all playing our game with our rules, and we're enjoying each other's company. It's so much fun.
Mhm.
And I just love talking to people. I love it. I never get tired of talking to people like you, because you just get it at a very high level.
And that's what I like when I'm collaborating with people like yourself, is because we're all in that mindset of working together instead of competing with against each other.
There's no competition. There's no competition.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's again, I think when you start a company, and it's fair, it's like, you don't know you don't know what, I went to college to be a journalist. I never even knew what an entrepreneur was. I had no idea. And then journalism is, the most competitive field. Like, kill the competition, get the story first, scoop the competition, destroy the other circulation. That's journalism.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to retrain your mindset to enter this world. But once you do that, and you're capable of doing that, then there's limitless growth, limitless.
Awesome. Okay, so before I let you go, that's the formal portion of the interview. Got 5 quick questions for you before I let you go. Give me the first thing that comes to mind. Number 1, you're stuck in the car and you're on a road trip for a long time, hours and hours and hours. What's the one song that you won't mind listening to over and over again?
The Handler by Muse. That's a good one. That's a good one for a long time. Yeah.
Now, to keep you company, you also get to pick 3 people, dead or alive, fictional or real people, into your car to go on that ride with you. Which are these 3 people?
My wife and 2 children. That's an easy one.
Very nice. You're stuck on the desert island, and you have a choice of one food to eat for the rest of your life, no consequence. What food would that be?
Yeah, lobster too.
Yeah. Hidden talent.
I sing "O Canada" at minor league baseball games.
Oh, wow. Very cool. And then finally, what is success like? I got 4 cards here. Give me a number between 1 to 4.
You tricked me with that one.
So give me a number between 1 to 4.
4.
1, 2, 3, 4. So how is success like overalls?
How is success like overalls? It fits perfectly.
It's always a good fit. All right, awesome. Thank you very much. Is there any last words that you want to share? Oh, and also, how do people reach out to you if they want to know more about what you do and also pick up a copy of your book?
Well, again, I'm very grateful for this interview, and I'll share it far and wide to my followers, because I just think your brain is, you've got guts, man. You've got guts. You got guts, and I just respect that. And when people like Richard and Jason say good thing, I mean, those guys they're just so very grateful. The book's ending. I mean, it's a bestseller in Canada too. That was fun. But it's anywhere. It's called Epic Business. And the right people reach out. Justin Breen on LinkedIn, and company's called Brepic. It's funny because we never mention the company's name in these interviews because it doesn't matter. Never make anyways, right? Yeah, it's just my name. That doesn't matter. That's just fun. But what a great interview. You're really good at this.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time, your stories, and also some of your advice for people to succeed and grow. And I had a lot of fun. Thank you very much.
Yeah, this was great. Thank you so much for your time.
Great. For everybody else, until next time, he is Justin Breen. My name is Fong. Until next time, today is the day to unlock your peak potential. We'll see you later.